Hello guys, welcome back to the crew calling all units. Comparison test number 41. The circuit category winners battle. Now, with the release of calling all units, we could get level 60, and with getting level 60 we could get cars at 1497. That also meant that we suddenly had a higher level, although it does not do that much to cars and bikes, it just gives them a bit more grip. And well, in a way, top speed might vary for like 1 or 2 kilometers an hour, but not much more difference than that. The more grip that works for some cars, for others not so much. There are cars that I don't like the Huayra and the Ferrari 458. Not that good in my opinion at 1497 compared to the 1299 car. So I brought a lot of them down to 1299 again, but that's personal preference, I guess. So, but for this test, I brought them back at 1497. I tested all the street specs, did the category winners battle. I did the same for dirt, performance, rate, and so on. And then there was E3 news. I still had a few circuit specs that I needed to upgrade to 1497, and so on. The result of that was that I kinda postponed the circuit tests for a couple of weeks. And last week I started with it, and we ended up with the top 15 sorta in this winners battle. What does that mean? Which 15 cars do I have here? It's like, had some comments on the test itself, like someone said that but you crashed with the Saline and that can go way faster. Other people were saying but why don't you take a hypercar if you pick a winner from all the categories and all that. I took all that in consideration, and so I have the 8 winners of the 8 different categories here, and then also the 7 second, third, fourth best times, so on. And that brings us to the top 15. So let's get started. It's gonna be a pretty long video. I will make some sort of timeline in the description as I did in the category tests. So you can, of course, I'm not gonna mention the car this time because, well, we are sort of trying to determine the best overall car in circuit spec. And at number 15, that means the Dodge Challenger SRT8. Category winner of the muscle cars, and it ended up in this run at number 15. You might not recognize the track immediately because what I did for this winners battle is I changed it up. Meaning it's sort of the same track that I did in the category tests, but this time I'm driving it in opposite direction, and that also allowed me to add a little bit of a long straight at the end. So the track is a little bit longer, but the result of that is that it's sort of a bit of a different track now. You have some uphill now here in the beginning, but you will have downhill faster corners where braking comes into consideration, and at the end a long straight where the top speed sort of comes into consideration. And that makes it a bit more balanced, I think, for the winners battle. Yep, that's kind of what we need. So this is sort of the track you will see it for the first time. In the category test I did it the other way around, but then I didn't have a long straight at the end, so that's why I switched it up. That also means I mentioned it already a couple of times in the previous videos. I gave the code for the free drive challenge. I removed that free drive challenge because I had no room in the favorites anymore, so it might be possible that that code does not work for anymore. But you can do always this run, I guess. The code for this one I will put in the description of this video. And I will just let it run now for the Challenger. 349.9, that is our first time. That also means, of course, almost 4 minutes times 15, that this video is gonna be at least 1 hour. I know also there I got some comments on that, of course. That's how it goes on YouTube. Because not everybody's watching that long, and can't you do a time lapse? And yeah, I could, but I've spent quite some time recording all this. Spent several hours on it. Not every run goes immediately smooth and stuff like that. So I just post it out like I recorded these things. So that means the video will be 1 hour long, but that's how it goes. Number 14. The Chevrolet Silverado. Category winner of the utility category. Up we go. .348.6, which is yeah, pretty much down the line at number 14 in our list here, but if you looked at the category going the other way, the category tests, it came pretty close to Ferraris and Fords and so, but it's not doing this good on this track. I also hit a few stuff here and there, I know that, but that's just because the car reacts like that. So that's also why I leave it in the video. If you see me hit something, that's because you just cannot with the keyboard control that car like you should, and then the result of that is that you hit stuff. And the same for this thing here. It did a 333 or something going the other way, but yeah, I had like a major crash in that run, and people say, yeah, but this thing is still good and it's going faster and can do faster and should be always in the winner's battle and blah blah blah. So I thought, okay, I'll put it in, but it's still the same. As you will see, it's wheel spinning, it slides about, and that means that you chances you're gonna hit traffic or something is just way bigger with this big boat than with some of the other cars. Like here, you're in a slide and you cannot correct this thing. You're just gonna hit that car. I recorded this run early morning to not have too much traffic. Still managed to hit 2 cars, and that's 2 times in a corner where it was sliding and you cannot correct this thing. It's big, it's wide and sliding all about. Might be a keyboard thing, I know it works pretty okay on pad and wheel, but for me this car does not work at all. And the result of that is that it's at number 13 in our ranking. I put it in because people said that it should be in, but not so much for me. 347.4. Okay, I hit 2 cars, maybe you can subtract like 2 seconds or so, but even then. All these cars can be used in a way because, as you will see in the following videos, There are a lot of cars doing 345, 346, so it's all pretty close to each other. But there are a few outstandings, let's put it that way. At number 12, the Hot Rod Hub 1. Up we go. $346.8 for the Hot Rod. That was the runner-up in the Retro Classic category. And that gives it the 12th spot in our little ranking here. Now, I mentioned it already before, maybe not, but all these cars in this winner's battle can be used in some sort of way because it's all pretty close. The winner of the bikes when we did that test was the BMW, but yeah, we did make a mistake with the other bike, which is more on handling. This is more based on handling and acceleration. And that is also the reason why you will, this is the first bike at number 11 now, although it won the bikes. The other bike, yeah, it's gonna surprise us quite a bit later on, as you will see. Three 46.7. 1/10 faster than the hot rod, so that's all pretty close. That brings us to the top 10, and at number 10 we have the winner of the sports category. Now some of these runs are recorded early morning or some in morning rush hour, so it's also traffic, it depends a bit. So there might be some more or cars in some of the runs. And that's why, yeah, this can be on number 10, this can be at number 6, at number 7. It all depended a bit on traffic as well. So it's all pretty close here in, let's say from 6th to 12th position or so. Not much difference in it. CT46.1. It's pretty low in the ranking, but yeah, that has mainly to do now that we changed the track around. We're driving in the opposite direction. We're going more downhill and brakes come more into play, and this car does not have such good brakes. And that's one of the reasons why it's at number 10 and for instance not at number 5, which you will see later, where is the car with the best brakes in this game, and suddenly that one moves up while it was not that. At first I didn't even want to put that car in, as you will see later. Number 9. One of the supercars. I took 3 or 4 in this because yeah, those are best category in circuit. The Mercedes-Benz McLaren SLR 722 edition. As you might notice as well, it's pretty dark here, but it is not raining. That's why I left this run in it. It is towards nighttime, but it's not really nighttime yet. And it looked like it was gonna rain, but it didn't rain. So I sort of tried to make same conditions this time for this winner's battle. So you will not, except for this run, you will not see any runs in the rain or at night time when there is less traffic. So it's all sort of at the same conditions, but yeah, some were recorded early morning in-game time, some a bit later, and seemed that also did matter a bit for the traffic, but nevertheless a 345.7 for the SLR, which puts it in 9th place in our little ranking here. But yeah, maybe except for the top 2, 3, something like that, all these cars can be used because it's all pretty close. Number 8, the winner of the Retro Classic category, the Ferrari F40 Le Mans. Three 45.6. That's 1/10 faster than the SLR. And so slightly we are moving up towards the top 5. At number 7, the winner of the hot hatch category. And I even think that this was not even the cleanest runs, but the Mini Cooper. 345 607. That's about 40,000 faster than the F40. And even 30,000 faster, I believe. Something like that. For number 6. One of the supercars. I think we have 5 in this top 15 because that's just the best category in circuit. The McLaren 12C GT3. 345.575. Oh, what I noticed, for instance, with this car is that in the category test we went uphill, and then this car was pretty good, not even that far behind the best cars or the best times. But going downhill like we are doing now, yeah, it suffers quite a lot at high speed or at higher speed from understeer. That's why it's at number 6. Which brings us to the top 5. Now, in the top 5 there are a few surprises, and some of them have to do with the fact that I turned around the circuit. So instead of going uphill, we go more downhill, we have more speed, brakes come into play way more, and that is definitely why number 5, although I was not gonna take this one into the winner's battle at first. The winner of the hypercars is at number 5 for the simple reason it has the best brakes in the game. The Lamborghini Murcielago. Oh no, first the AMG even. How is that here? Let me have a look. Nope. Second. I numbered them wrong. That was a little mistake there. So, because of the brakes, this thing surprisingly at number 5. I rechecked it again, and if in the category test, if I would listed up all the cars, which are like 50 something I think in total in circuit spec, this thing would not even be on the top 50 if I would have listed up the times. But seeing it was the category winner, because yeah, there were only 2 cars in Hyper, and the Zonda R is not as good as this Murcielago, so this was the winner. And so I will put it in, I thought, and we'll see. First part is like, yeah, a bit uphill here now, not so fast, but once it goes downhill and once the brake comes into play, that's where this thing wins it for sure. For the bikes, the best brakes were the KTM 1190, kinda established that. But for the cars, it most likely will be this one. This thing has pretty damn good brakes. And that means you can go faster into the corners. And of course the result of that is you can brake harder, higher top corner speed, so like here, not a problem. Huh? It's like one of the toughest corners here on this little track that we made here. You have to cut it inside, if you go outside you fly over the wall there. Also here a bit of lightning in the background, but I don't think we have rain. If I'm not mistaken, we did not have rain in any of the runs. Still slides about, as you can see, but because of the good brakes we could take the corners quite fast. And at the long straight here at the end, which I kinda added to the category test in itself. That's why I turned the track around, so I could act this longer straight, so that we can have a look at top speed. Going towards 420 here. Which of course is not a top speed, because with slipstream you can get probably 430 or something out of this thing. It's about to rain though, but we managed to get to the finish. With a time of 3:43.6. There we go. No. So that's number 5 and that's number 4. For some reason I switched those two up. But yeah. The next one, yeah, as you saw already when I started it up wrongly in the previous one. The AMG GT. Also kind of a surprise, because it was not even number 3 if I listed up the times going uphill. It was not the number 3 in the supercars category. It was only like number 5 or 6, but it was close with 3, 4 and 5, and it has good grip here going uphill already, so I'm thinking that it already won a bit here compared to the last time. Not the brakes of the Murcielago on this thing. If it would have the brakes of the Murcielago, it might even fight for one of the top spots. But the brakes are not that good, and yeah. But it has a pretty good handling, acceleration, low speed corners. Was kinda okay when we did the uphill track in the category tests. And now we sort of go downhill here on the winner's battle, and pretty good. Once it gets a bit more speed, I'm guessing that's where it wins it as well. Yeah, we are doing 390, almost 400 kilometers an hour here, which with many of the cars in this winner's battle, we could not reach there at that point. 343.4. That's probably why I mixed those two up. It's only like about 170,000 difference between the Murcielago and this one. So 5, 4, they're gone. Now the bike's winner was the BMW in the category test, because the Kawasaki Z1000 did not had the cleanest runs at the end. So we were having a really good run in the Kawasaki, but we crashed into a van at the end of the run, resulting in the uphill track in a 329 or something, while the BMW did a 327. But I took in consideration that that crash probably made us not win the category for the bikes. And to my own surprise, I must say, although it's a pretty fast and clean run that I'm doing here, but in this top 15 we end up in the top 3 with a bike, the Kawasaki Z1000 at number 3. Already had a few close calls, and I think there will even follow a few more, but this bike is the bike with the best handling, and on a track like this, that's probably why it's so good at it. Like that maneuver there, yeah. You can try that with any of the other bikes. You're gonna end up in the wall and probably bouncing up to the woods on the other side. 341.7, which is probably the fastest you will ever see me go on this track. It was like a pretty fast run, it was a pretty clean run, and the result of that is that a bike is in the top 3. The bikes don't handle, blah blah blah, you hear it so often. Top 3, ladies and gentlemen. Which brings us to the top 2, and well, for me, not so much surprises there. Number 2 is the one coming closest to the number 1, and by that I mean also in PvP and such is in case you do not have the season pass, this is probably your best shot as an overall circuit spec car. At number 2, the Ford GT. I do must add that this run with the Ford GT, as well the next one with the number 1, they were recorded just after the night time, and that means that we probably do not have as much traffic as with some of the other cars or bikes that we had. But that won't change that much. They're still, in my opinion, gonna be the numbers 1 and 2. Three 39.1. The first time we go under the 340, with the number 15 at 349. That's almost, well, that is more than 10 seconds difference already. Can it go any faster? Well, yeah, it can. If you have a season pass, it can go about 3 seconds faster even, in a pretty smooth and fast run. Season pass or calling all units, then you also have this car in police spec, which is circuit spec in this case. If you have the season pass, then you have this car in performance and in circuit spec. Considered to be the best circuit spec overall, and well, for me it still is. The Ferrari 458. Up we go. Three 36.3. That is for our winner. Best circuit spec overall, the Ferrari 458. Can it go any faster? Well, I'm pretty sure it can, because even in this run you heard that it was sliding a bit, the wheels were spinning a bit, and I think that's because it does not like the grip that much that it gets extra at putting it 1497. So bringing it down at 1299 will probably make it even a little bit faster. And then of course there is the hardware, the driver itself, meaning that some pro gamepad or controller players and wheel players will go way faster in these things, even in some of the other cars maybe. I'm pretty sure that players like Hesto, Junet, Huayra, Paraglider, GoPro IMAX, you name it, all that lot, they can go way under 330. I'm 100% sure on this track. They can always try. I will put the code in the description of this video, and that will also conclude this series of comparison tests. Tested all the street cars, dirt cars, performance, rate and circuit spec at 1497. I already did like the big drag test where I tested 1299 drag cars versus 1497, but that's all a bit relative. It doesn't matter that much because drag trials in this game are only about FPS, internet connection and all that. Drift cars can also not test those because many of those can be used. In general, the 7-gear drift cars are not that good in my opinion, but all the rest can be used. Mazda RX-7, BMW M5 are considered to be the best, Viper for American qualifiers, but even the other cars you can use. And for the monster specs, also there you can use most of them. A Bart, Skyline, even a Cherokee you can use in a monster arena. For skill test you're gonna end up with the Skyline and the Ford Raptor probably being sorted the top 3, top 4 in monster spec. But not really gonna do videos on those things. So that will be it for this comparison test videos. What's gonna be next? I'm probably gonna keep running the older games in the summer series. Have some fun in that while we wait on the beta for the Crew 2, and at the same time Sunday night or whenever it is, because they always change it up, whenever a new qualifier will be around for the summit qualifiers and summits themselves. Well, I'm doing it lately, all events in a live stream, as you will see when the next one is up. Bye for now and see you guys in the next one.